Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, we're going to give all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Let's say double honors to our apostles and elders, very great millstone, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. So in these times we're in, a lot's happening, and I'm going to go into the promise. I believe I touched on it before when I was mentioning the Lord as how he swore in two immutable objects, which was by oath in his name. That's how we know that this place is going to be destroyed and the kingdom is going to be set up. So I'm going to talk about the promise, and that's really what it comes down to, is that we are children of the promise.
That's right.
That's what we have. You can't ask us to go and dig up a document proving that the Most High wrote in the signature line saying, I'm going to give you the kingdom of Israel. It was by his word, right? Because it all comes down to that, because, it's like, why are we still here? Like, why are we still here? Why do we still exist? Why are we even here still? Because there was a promise that was made. The Most High could have dealt away with us a very long time ago. Oh, can you hear me? Get around me, Chuck. He could have did away with us a long time ago. Stiff-necked Israelites, he could have did away with us back in the wilderness, right? It's because of a promise. That's why we're still here. And believe me, all the prophets before, they all had the same concerns when it came to the promise, right? Because they was in captivity like we are now, and we just looking around and we like, damn, but the Most High did not care about us shit. And that's why they diligently inquired, like Ezra, he poured his heart out. He was like, Lord, do you not love your people or something? Like, if we're so special, why are we here? Why are we on the bottom to these people? That's why the Most High assured him, he was like, look, I promise that the righteous will inherit the kingdom, but the wicked will have to be destroyed, and they got to bear their indignation. And if you was in that situation, you'd be praying for the same thing. Like, damn, look, I think about it just about every single day now. I get so vexed just thinking about stuff with these Edomites. It makes me mad. And then I just be like, man, Most High just got us under these damn people, man. I have to remember why, and I have to remember that it's not for long. I seen a video with an Edomite and a dog, and I just look at Edomite women completely different now. Now I don't even want to consider them. Because I'm like, look at these fucking people, and look at us. And it's like, damn, do we not, what the hell do we got? Nothing. I don't know if y'all saw the video about the bank, the brothers upload about the bank, London and stuff. I saw a little bit of it. Yeah. Our people built up this banking industry, and what do we got of it? Nothing. We get persecuted by the banks. We get put in debt by the banks. So it's like, it looks as if we ain't got shit. Okay? It looks like the Most High just don't even care, but really he does. And it's because of the promise. That's why we're still here.
It's Galatians 3:16. Now to Abraham and his seeds were the promises made. He said, not into seeds as of many, but as of one. And to thy seed which is anointed.
Read that again, sir.
So Galatians 3:16. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He said, not into seeds as of many, but as of one. And to thy seed, which is anointed.
Right. Which is Yahweh Shah. What seed did he come out of? The scriptures is very clear. He came out of Israel, in particular from the tribe of Judah. And there's a reason for that. Because also in the book of Galatians, the scriptures tell you that he was born under the law, that he may set them free, which are under the law. Roughly paraphrase, the 4th chapter. That's why he was born as a man, as an Israelite, because it's important. The seed that was promised of Abraham, Abraham had multiple seeds, like we always say. He had multiple seeds, man. His firstborn, which was Ishmael, he didn't get the promise and go to him. Did Ishmael get blessed? Yes. Did the Lord bless him? Yeah, because it was still Abraham's seed. But who was the promises laid further gone to? It was to Isaac. And as I always mention, he even had children by his concubines. But when the time came for Isaac to grow and for Abraham to get Isaac right, if you read about it, Abraham gave all his wives and his concubines gifts. Them and from their children to his children, and he sent them on their way to get away from Isaac because that was the focus. So people always want to say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Well, guess what? Abraham had multiple seeds. Isaac had multiple seeds. So why is it that those particular names are only mentioned? Because by promise, that's who it fell down to. It wasn't just anybody who came out of Abraham or anybody who came out of Isaac. It was promised the kingdom of heaven. They were blessed. Esau was blessed. But the kingdom of heaven was promised to Abraham, Isaac, then Jacob. That's why we're still here. Believe me, these other nations, these so-called white people, they look at us, they like, look at these pieces of shit. They call us names, they laugh at us, like on a train. The reason dude had to get stuck, slept, because he's so proud. He pretty much like, look at you niggas with this. In another little speech, he was like, y'all going back. He was all proud, like, yeah, y'all going back. And the Jake was like, back to where? He's like, you know where. So they was proud, right? They look at us and they're like, y'all ain't got shit. And it really is a shame. It makes me mad when I really think about how, because mentally, I'm not gonna lie, I'm always mentally looking for a place of refuge. I'm always consciously seeking. But there is no physical. There is none. The only physical is gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. The spiritual one is these scriptures. And that makes me mad. Because I don't want to be around these people. I really don't. And I look for ways out, but there is no way. And it makes me mad because I'm like, damn, what the hell we just here for? But then I remember the reason the Most High doing all this shit, destroying this place, is because of the promise of me. That's why we're still here. The other nations, they looking like, why the Lord chose them? Look at them, they kill each other, they shoot each other. Well, it's because of our promise. That's what you don't get.
Verse 17. This I say that the covenant that was confirmed before of Yahweh and Yahushua, the law which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, but it should make the promise of none effect.
Okay, so that promise, read that again.
This I say that the covenant that was confirmed before of Yahweh and Yahushua, the law which was 430 years after, cannot disannul.
Now, that 430 years was talking about Egypt. Okay, it was talking about Egypt. That was with Jacob. That's when the covenant came. But can that covenant disannul the promise that was made to Abraham? No. So it doesn't matter, oh, that was 400 some years ago during the time. It still was in effect. Did not the Lord redeem the Israelites out of Egypt and had them go into the land of the Canaanites, which was the land that would flow to milk and honey, because of promise? It wasn't because the Lord said, this is, I think this land is good for you. I mean, he did that, but he said, because I promised your forefathers that you would inherit this land. All right? You got that, bro? Let me in a box. I think it's, I want you to, let me see. Verse 4. No, let's just start at 1. Start at 1.
Deuteronomy 4 and 1. Hear, O Israel, thou art to pass over Jordan this day, to go and possess nations greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fenced up to heaven, a people great and tall, the children of the Anakims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the children of Anak? Understand therefore this day the great that the Lord thy God is he which goes over before thee as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as the Lord hath said unto thee. Speak not thou in thy heart. After that the Lord thy God hath cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness the Lord hath brought me in to possess this land.
So Moses was telling Israel, okay, you about to go over there and take the land. Remember, these people are more mightier and stronger than you. What's that showing you? That the Most High don't go off of looks. He does deal with might and mightiness, because King David was a mighty warrior. But not all kings had, you can say, the image of a warrior and a king at the same time. Like a good example was David and Saul. When you read about Saul, which was a Benjamite, he actually was a straight warrior. He had the appearance of a straight king, because the prophet was saying, like, who got shoulders like this man? No, he looked like a king, right? But if you read the story, was not Saul rejected? David was found righteous and humble. And he was a humble man, keeper of the sheep, but the Most High raised him up. So just because when Israel was bugging out, when they went to spy out on the land, they like, man, these people 10 feet taller than us, they strong as hell, how we gonna take them down? And they put fear into Israel, except, Caleb and Joshua. Yeah, Caleb and Joshua. They said, look, Lord don't give a fuck about that. We can take these people down through his power. And that's what happened. But what did Moses say? He said, don't think in your heart, Israel, when you go take this land, you get all puffed up. Like, yeah, it's because we righteous. That's why we're going to take the land. Read that last part again.
For my righteousness, the Lord hath brought me into.
Read that
verse 4. Speak not thou in thy heart after that. The Lord thy God hath cast them out before thee, saying, for my righteousness the Lord hath brought me into possess this land. But for the wickedness of these nations, the Lord doth drive them out from before thee.
So it wasn't because of our righteousness, it was because of their wickedness. And because of the promise, which I believe is going to go into. Because when you read the law, when the Lord talked about not committing homosexual acts, not committing incest, so forth and so on, eating swine's flesh, drinking blood, he said that's what all these nations do before you. That's why they're getting cast out. So if you turn around and do the same thing, you're going to get cast out. And eventually we did get cast out. And then Jerusalem was able to, keep her Sabbaths because there was no one there. We weren't inhabited. Keep going.
Not for thy righteousness or for the uprightness of thine heart dost thou go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations, the Lord thy God does drive them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which the Lord swore unto thy fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand therefore that the Lord thy God giveth thee not this good land to possess it for the righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people.
Bam, that's all I wanted. So what did he say? He said, you're going to get this land because of the wickedness of the other nations, and because I promised your forefathers, which are no longer here, which are dead, you can say, that you're going to get this land. Don't think, it's because we righteous. And the Most High said, no, y'all are stiff-necked people, and I ought to do away with you. Because in the wilderness, you provoked them more and more and more. But there's a reason why Israel had to go through that 40-year period, because the ones who didn't believe, they didn't make it. They didn't get to see it. So why did we take the land? Was it because we were righteous? No, it was because you could say the righteousness of our forefathers and the promise that the Lord made. So when you read the scriptures, you get the idea, and this is a confirmation that the Most High is a man of his word. He clearly said, I'm not doing this for you because you hard-headed as fuck. I'm doing this because I promised your forefathers that you was going to take this land. So now I'm fulfilling it. Couldn't the Most High just did away with Jacob and say, forget it? That's showing you that he's a man of his word. Right. Reason we still here. The Most High is a man of his word. He promised that this place is going to be, Esau is going to be shut down and thrown down. Before this kingdom is destroyed, he's pretty much going to get his name and his reputation going to get spit on. As the scripture says, he shall be filled with shame and glory. And I will expose your nakedness. Before the Lord destroyed this place, you're gonna get exposed, you're gonna get condemned, you're gonna get laughed at, you're gonna get mocked, and then you're gonna be destroyed. It's just like the judge before he gives his sentencing, he'll give the little defendant or whoever's guilty, he'll give him a little speech. Like, I just want you to know that I think you are a piece of crap. Hopefully one day you can find help. Maybe you can get some rejuvenation or something. I now sentence you to such and such. Same thing the Lord doing to this man, and he is doing it. So when we see these other nations puff their chest in America, when we see the Lord bring judgment upon our people, okay, especially our women because they lost. When you see the Lord bring judgment upon Esau, or he gets laughed at, he take these L's, it's the Lord fulfilling his promise. Hey, when we see the bunch of Israelites waking up from all four corners, praising the name Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, that's the Lord fulfilling his promise. That's why we still here. These other nations, the white men, trust me, when they look at us, they're like, how the hell does the Lord want these? We're much smarter, better, these niggas, what the Lord gonna do? it's one thing we have that these other Edomites don't have, is the promise. What's it do?
I started at this is Luke chapter 1, verse 7. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he sware to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us that we, being delivered out of the hands of our enemies, might serve him without fear, in holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life, and thou, child, shalt be called the prophet of the highest, for thou shalt go before the face of the Lord to prepare his ways, to give knowledge of salvation unto his people by the remission of their sins.
Right, that was referring to John. So what does that tell you? We are children of the promise, and the Most High is fulfilling it. And the promise is the new covenant, which the new covenant requires the kingdom of heaven to be established to his Son, and we being joint heirs, and we having a law bestowed upon our hearts. So Esau, when they look at us, hey, I mean, they look down on me all the time, right? I already know them, both the men and the women. They look at us like, whatever. You know, this guy is, nobody. Their whole attitude changed. I remember when I went to get a car, to buy a car. Of course, I walked in a lot, just like this. And I already knew as soon as I walked in, they all just gave me looks. Can I help you, sir? Didn't want to give me no time of day because of how I was dressed. And I was like, yeah. And I looked at that car, and I test drive it. We got to do a credit check. I said, credit check? I ain't even drove it yet. Boy, that's what we do. That's what we do. You know, they wanted to get rid of me because they're like, nigga, you ain't got no money. You get treated different, right? I said, okay, that's fine. I left the lot and I went somewhere else and I got it. And I gave him a bad review. If that's the best car